So today's encouraging word will be brought to you by the amazing Winnona Gaviglio. Winnona has been a great friend of mine. She's a mom, she's an entrepreneur, and she is a marketing guru. Anytime I need advice on marketing or people that I know are friends in common that need help with marketing, they go to Winnona. So welcome, Winnona, to the show today.
Liz, thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, we are so glad that you've taken the time to be here. And if we could just start off with an encouraging word, what would you say is your secret to success that keeps you going every single day, or that's gotten you through the tough times as an entrepreneur, that's made you a success today? So what advice would you give to our listeners?
Well, I like to sing, so I'm just going to sing it. I get by with a little help from my friends. Seriously, I have to draw upon the strength of other people, folks who have been through it before, or they know someone who has, and they've got other words of advice. And here's the experience that I lived through, and you don't have to live through it, or you do, and you're just going to come out on the other side. So definitely drawing upon the strength and wisdom and humor of others.
That's so true. We were not really meant to be on this earth by ourselves. We were not meant to go through life alone. So definitely calling on the help from your friends is huge. I love that. That's such a great motto and great advice. But what about maybe some of the new people that are just getting started in their entrepreneurial journey? What words of encouragement would you have for them?
Oh, I've got a couple. One is to figure out your niche, what absolutely sets you apart. And it can't be customer service because everybody has customer service, but what is the one or group of things that makes you unique? And when you're thinking about your journey, your branding, remember that people buy from you, not your company name. They buy from you. So share with us your kooky interests. Share with us that you are really into underwater basket weaving, whatever it is that makes you who you are.
I love that. I totally love that. Yes.
And then
marketing guru.
Right. And then the other thing is to research what are some of the small business, particularly support systems that are around you. There's things like SCORE, and I don't even know what that stands for. All I know is that they are incredibly helpful because it's either retired or existing experts in their fields who are willing to help small business owners. There's also the Small Business Administration. I think that's what it's called. I really don't even know what they're called. I just know that they do great things. So, and they're free. And why not tap into what's free, especially when you're starting out?
Exactly. Call on the resources that have already been put before you, so you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Learn from the people who made mistakes, right? So you don't need to make them. I love that. I love that. So tell me, Winnona, you're a mom, you're an entrepreneur, you balance, you juggle it all. What is family like these days for you now?
Oh, goodness. So I've got one daughter who is going to be graduating from high school this year. I know, amazing. She's the younger one. And then the older one is in college and figuring out what the heck it is that she wants to do. And, when I think back, I thought I had a vision when I was 17 that I was going to be a teacher. I knew that I was going to go to school for it. I knew that I was going to help loads of kids. That was my vision. And I did. I became a teacher. I taught middle school English for about 5 years. But I was a child. I was 23 when I started that. I was just barely older than those kiddos. So knowing that I thought I knew what I wanted to do and followed that path, and now I'm doing something completely different, I'm okay with the fact that my kids don't exactly know what they want to do. it's more like learning is to set the foundation of, and it's kind of like learning how to learn, because many of the existing jobs today were not around when I was in high school, when I was at the career center deciding on what I wanted to do. So that being said, I'm giving them a little bit of grace. And I really appreciate the fact that they have been able to adapt with me, because recently divorced, which means that you need to pay attention to your kids even more and tap into, are they healthy mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, all of those things, instead of, well, now I'm by myself and so I can do whatever I want to do because it's all about me, me, me. Not quite, not quite. You are still their support system, their rock. But I can tell you that once I went out on my own, I had to provide for myself, and I had to believe that I could provide for myself. Before, I was in kind of a, we'll just call it what it is. It was a cushy lifestyle. I was a stay-at-home mom, which is the hardest job on the planet.
Yeah, I agree.
But at the same time, I was not bringing in, like, just, it was play money. So I treated my positions like they were hobbies, not like careers. And now I'm showing my girls that you can be a woman and be a business owner and still affect the lives of many, many people and still have time for your family.
That's right. Well, you know, a happy family life also blends into a happy business life too, because we are all one person. We're not just one, we're not in separate compartments, even though we may compartmentalize our time, but not who we are as a whole person. So I just love that. I love that. So talking about your business and being a marketing guru and all the amazing business owners you've been able to help with your services, tell me more about how you got started with UK to USA marketing.
Oh, great question, Liz. So let's go back in time to, I think it was like March 10th. That was my last in-person, March 10th, 2020, my last in-person networking event of that year. Because the next week, everything locked down, shut down, at least in Orange County, California. That's finally when it hit us. And in that moment, I needed to find some other way that I could bring up leads. How was I going to connect with people when all of my prospecting had been through face-to-face, in person? So luckily, I found an online networking group, went to that meeting and happened to meet a woman who was from the UK, and bless her heart, she like stayed up late so that she could be on this event. And you know how sometimes you meet someone and you think, wow, we are like cut from the same cloth, sister from another mister, like we just connected. And so we ended up having chats 3-4 times a month, and she would help me with her business coaching because that was her job. And I would give her marketing advice, take it or leave it. And one day she said, hey, so I've got this program and nobody in the UK is jumping on board with it. Would you be able to look over my brochure before I present it to the 2 groups that I belong to in the States? Because you have American eyes, Winona. Yes, I do. So anyway, so we had, a Zoom conference just like this, and she shared her screen. And so I saw her brochure and I was telling her things like, oh, make the font bigger here and put a photograph here that has people on there, because your target audience is made up of people. So you need to have people in the image. You can't just be, nebulous stars, or I don't know what she had, but we needed more people. Another thing was that I told her, instead of saying, my company is going to give you, or we are going to give you, to you are going to get. And I explained to her that when you do that, you are making your prospect the actor in the sentence, the one who has all the power and the one who feels in control when he or she decides to work with you, even though you've been making it the obvious choice this entire time. Now, Liz, every time I would give her some advice, and it was just raw, unfiltered gut reactions of change this, change that, she would say, oh, brilliant. Now, I don't know if you've talked to anybody from the UK, they say brilliant a lot. And they don't mean shiny or clever all the time. Sometimes it's like, brilliant. And so I wondered if she was just saying that to kind of make me sort of feel okay. So what was going on in that moment was I didn't know if I was good enough. I didn't know if what I was saying was even worthwhile, especially because it seemed like pretty basic to me. Anyhow, we got over it. And so she made all the changes and then shared it to the two groups. And then within 2 weeks, Liz, she had 16 people. Okay, so 0 to 16, huge improvement. And she came back and she said, Winnona, we're onto something. I'm not the only business owner that's struggling to connect with the US market, but you just did it with ease because you have American eyes, you speak American English. And I said, but that was way too easy for me. She said, okay, let's step back a second here. Why would you do something that you're not good at, or that you struggle doing, or that you don't like doing? Oh, okay, yeah, that's why you are the business coach. So she said, no, by the way, I've got this event that's coming up in Northern California and I can't leave because I'm in the process of selling my home. And at that time, let's go back in time to like, oh gosh, still travel restrictions. So she would have had to be in quarantine for 2 weeks when she arrived, and then quarantine for 2 weeks again. You can't do that as a business owner. And even if that hadn't been the case, it still would have been travel time, jet lag, being away from her business and her family. So I was understanding that part of it, but I said, what is it that you want me to do? She said, well, there's a conference and I need you to go, sit in the audience, but then also talk with the people who are there. How can I make some really good partnerships with people? I said, oh, you mean I could be like a networker for hire? She said, yeah, be my boots on the ground.
Ooh.
Oh, that sounds like fun, because I had been telling her in the past, I love to talk to people. I love to find out their stories and then figure out who can I connect them with. It's like a game for me, Liz. It's so much fun. And so we organized it, and I chatted with her to figure out who would be her ideal client and who would be talking to those folks. Created a spreadsheet, and then got there. And there were so many hiccups along the way. I have to tell you, travel at that time was awful. I boarded 3 planes, but only 2 of them took off. One was super duper late. And I got there when this little teeny tiny airport had basically shut down. Like they were waiting for all of us to get out so they could turn the lights off. Like it's not where we are here. And every time something would happen, I'd laugh it off and take a picture and know that that was going to be great fodder for telling stories of, look, I'll travel so you don't have to. And it was great fun. I mean, I got to talk to people. It was only like a 1-day quick turnaround, came back, and I gave her a bunch of warm connections that I had made, not leads, because we had real conversations with people. And that's how it was born. And so that's why it's UK, USA marketing, because yes, they do speak English, but we speak American English here in the United States. And there are certain words that'll just be like this glaring red button of, hey, this person is not from here, and wrote that. But then I can tell you that half of my clients right now, they're from the UK. The other half are from the United States. And what, pray tell, would the folks in the United States be doing with me? They already speak English, American English. Yes, they do. However, there are trade shows and expositions and conferences that they can't attend, or they'll have a booth and they'll send me out as kind of like a representative of their company, and again, make connections and find out how I can funnel people to come to their booth and find out more about what it is they're talking about.
Totally. I love it. And, not everybody has the time to go to those things. Not everybody has the personality, really, right? They're really good at the business that they do, but not necessarily marketing or people or, want to take the travel, like you said. So thank goodness for you being boots on the ground.
And here's the other thing. You can't tell based on this video, but I'm short. I'm like 5'3". And so when I go to these events, I'm just really approachable. People come up to me and they end up telling me just a little bit of their life story. And so it's a lot easier for me to connect them with my clients that are looking for their service, but maybe don't know about it.
Yeah. Love that. And hey, you're tall because I'm 5'2", but I love it. Well, tell me more about who's your ideal client? Obviously, it's a business owner that is wanting to get more business, but anyone in particular? Any type of niche?
So here's an interesting little tidbit here. I have found that I have been helping more people who are in marketing, possibly, obviously not what I do, but some area of marketing, because guess what? They do great at promoting other businesses. Phenomenal videographers, graphic artists, branding people, press, public relations. They do fantastic at that, but they don't do as well promoting themselves. Here's why. In our culture, we have been taught that it's braggadocious to boast about yourself, to say, I'm awesome because, and then fill on that line. Now, that whole culture is not going to change overnight, and it's been ingrained in your head. But the moment that someone else talks about how wonderful you are, people are going to believe that someone else. Okay, that would be me, because I do great at the third-party edification. Kind of like an in-person review, because I don't know if you know this, but more consumers believe reviews over what you say on your website.
I agree. Yeah, people are always looking at reviews.
So you asked, who's my ideal? Well, they're in marketing. They've been around, not necessarily marketing. I'm telling you, I help people from so many walks of life, usually in some type of a service business. They've been around for a good 3 to 5 years. They've got maybe 10 to 50 employees, but for the most part, they are fun. They're fun. I'm a creative, which means that when we have our blocks of time that we work together, when I'm doing one-on-one, I no more than an hour sequentially, because I know that I am at my most creative in the first 45 minutes. And then after that, I can give you tasks of things to do, but I cannot. And so it would be worthless to schedule like a 2-hour block, because you're not going to get the best of me. And I like to give my all when I'm working with my clients.
I love that. So what one piece of advice would you give to our listeners today who, want to increase their marketing and get more customers?
Well, hire me would be a great one.
Of course. Yeah.
But beyond that, find some networking group that you can belong to, and then invest your time, not spend your time, invest your time going to those meetings, those events. Maybe there's a chamber of commerce that's local. Become visible. There are too many business owners that think, well, if I build it, they will come. That's not how it works. You actually need to consider that marketing budget is a portion of your budget, not just the basics of utilities and leasing. Marketing has to be part of it. So there needs to be some form of print advertising, something that's digital. So maybe you have like a much better website, one that has great keywords, and pay to have search engine optimization put on your site every month. Because it's not one of those one and done. I don't know if people have told you this and they talk about, I just got my site SEO'd. Okay, cool that you made it a verb. However, it's not like, getting your car tuned up once every 6 months or once a year and then think that it's going to go great. It's more like brushing your teeth. You need to do it daily. Twice a day would be optimal, but at least daily. And so little tweaks and things need to happen each day. So we've got print, digital, but then also in person as well. So become part of some networking organization. I'm a proud member of BNI. I have been for 9 years. Go BNI. And that has taught me so many ways to be a better networker, to communicate with people on their level. I've also gone to mixers and things like that and explained what it is that I do. And someone just recently said, oh, so you are a networker for introverts. But I guess I am, because I'm like a golden retriever, and I'm like, I'm so giving hugs to everybody I could. I have one story for you. I know you're trying to like wrap it up, but this is a great story. So I was at an expo recently, and I came upon a booth, and there was something about this woman's shirt. She had like sparkles on there, and I started to talk to her and find out, well, what is it that your business does? And there was all these different services. And then I said, well, have you ever thought about having like an explainer video in the background? And because that's my client that I was representing. Oh, we did like 5 minutes ago. I said, how is that possible? So I ended up talking to the owner of the company, and I was having a hard time hearing her. It was a really big location. Everybody was wearing masks, and so you couldn't quite understand folks. Finally, I said, can I just go around the corner? So I ran around the corner, talked to her there. And again, she was trying to talk. I couldn't understand her. And I said, is it okay if I give you a hug? Sure. So I give her a hug, and I can like feel that her body is kind of sobbing. And I'm thinking, oh, wow, what just happened? So then she stepped back, pulled her mask down, and she said, not 5 minutes before you got here, we were talking about the fact that we needed better marketing, specifically for video. And then you showed up. Whoa. Like, so you never know what's going to happen until you try. I mean, I have tried to come up with, here's the best scenario, and I see this happening and that happening, and I'm doing all this visualization, but then you show up to an event and there are bigger forces at work. There's something outside of you that is determining, if you just continue to be authentic and genuine, and you'll be put in the right place at the right time, and you'll be helping the folks that you are supposed to. You just have to trust, just lean in.
I do believe that God blesses the seeds that you plant. It doesn't bless the seeds that you didn't plant, right? So I just love that. And thank you, Winnona, for being here and sharing all these amazing nuggets of wisdom today with everybody. How can everybody contact you if they're ready to take their marketing to the next level?
Thank you. Thank you. So you can either scan this wonderful QR code that will take you to my contact information. Another thing that you can do is go to win, short for Winona, but it's also a verb and a noun. It's so many things. Win at UKTOUSA Marketing.com. That is my personal email address. I respond to it, not always on the weekends because I'm trying to have family time. And you talked about balance. It's not balance. It's work-life integration.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's never, an evening out of anything. It's, sometimes you're working with your business and sometimes you're playing with your kids. And if I can really focus on one and not the other, there's never balance that way. So it's work-life integration for me. But yes, win at UKTOUSA Marketing. Or again, just scan this. You can even set up, I think, like a 30-minute chat with me. I love to give people stories, especially new entrepreneurs, because it is not like it was back in the day where there was like a set way to do things. You're forging your own. You are a frontier if you're an entrepreneur right now.
I love it. That's right. Now is where the opportunity lies. And, that's where Rockefeller and all the greatest billionaires today have made it when it was during times like this and economic times like this, when they were able to take advantage of staking their claim in the ground in that market or in that area. And excited for every single one of you here listening in today. So we heard it from Winnona Gaviglio. Thank you so much, Winnona. We appreciate you being with us today. And we will also have Winnona's information in the comments below. Be sure to like and comment today's session if you enjoyed it, and look forward to seeing you guys at the next one. Thank you, Winnona. Appreciate you so much.
Love you.
Love you too.